Great, thank you so much. Thanks to the Drum Major Institute, and I'm honored to be here. I'm kind of awed to be here, so thank you so much. I almost didn't make it here today because I actually sprained my ankle, so I was going to call in sick, but I decided I couldn't do that, so if I start leaning to one side, it's because of my ankle. And so yes, I'm from Young Workers United, which is a membership organization in San Francisco, and I'm here because we did pass paid sick days in 2006, and it was very unexpected. I'm not a policymaker, and we are not a policy organization. This is all incredibly new. Basically, we got a lot of our knowledge about how to pass bills from the cartoon, How a Bill Becomes a Law. So this was very experimental, but I do feel like there was a lot of lessons that we learned that I want to share so that this can be replicated around the country. So you got some background on the organization. The main thing that we do is we don't pass laws, we enforce them. Most of the cases that we come across are people who are not getting the most basic rights. They're not getting paid minimum wage. They're not getting overtime. They're not getting their breaks. They're forced to work when they're injured on the job. They're having their time card shaved, where they're being clocked out 10 minutes early. So these are the things we deal with. And when we kind of first considered paid sick days, we thought, we're having a hard enough time enforcing the laws that exist. How are we going to pass the law? Because that's really pretty much 90% of our work was enforcement. But what happens during the course of the enforcement, the way that we find our cases is that we go out and talk to workers. So we spend pretty much all of our time in restaurants. We spend it talking to kitchen workers, to waitresses. We spend talking to janitors, to childcare workers, to basically anybody who will talk to us to find out what's going on. And what we found is that we were getting the same stories over and over and over again. I remember there's a vivid memory I have of walking into the Cheesecake Factory restaurant. Do you all know that restaurant? Yeah, we actually settled a $4.5 million lawsuit against them for missed breaks. We knew that they weren't the best employer. But I walk in and there was a server who was wearing sunglasses. And I thought, well, that's kind of odd. They're very strict about uniforms. And I asked her, I was like, well, what's going on? She's like, well, you know, I have pink eye conjunctivitis, which is contagious, but I tried to call in sick, but we don't have sick days, and my boss said he would fire me if I didn't come in. So he let me wear sunglasses. Yeah, that was one story. And so it kind of piqued our interest, and we started looking around and listening. And we would get story after story after story. There would be the woman who was pregnant, 8 months pregnant, working, and then one day at home started hemorrhaging, thought she was miscarriaging, called into her employer, and he said, you know what, I will fire you if you don't come into work today. And she had to make that choice to lose her job at being 8 months pregnant, and she lost her job. There were stories of mothers, over and over and over again, we heard from mothers who said, look, I had to leave my kid home alone with a fever of 103, with the flu, with whatever, because I couldn't afford to take a day off. There was mothers who were like, I'm at work, I got a call that if you could use your cell phone at work, I got a call that my child broke his arm, and I can't leave work to pick him up. This is what we heard over and over and over again. Besides the fact that we saw workers and talked to workers who said, you know what, I don't even expect to have paid sick days, I just work through the pain. I work through pain, I work with sprains, I work with the flu, I work with a cold, I work with whatever. I use my breaks to go throw up if I have the stomach flu. This is what we heard. I talked to one kitchen worker who said, look, you know, this is a big restaurant, so if the dishwasher breaks, if the dishwashing machine breaks, they call somebody, they're here in 2 minutes and they fix that machine. But if the dishwasher gets sick, they won't even give him a day to go take care of himself. And it happened over and over and over again. And so we started to say, we have to do something about this. This is crazy. So we started doing the research, and the numbers, it was great that you guys got the numbers. And we saw that in San Francisco, the stories we're hearing, they're happening all across the nation. Added to the number that almost half of all workers in the US don't have any paid sick days. If you look at the number of workers who have 1 or 2 sick days, or have sick days that they can only use if they have a doctor's note, if they have health care, or can have sick days that they can only use for themselves and not families, that number goes up a lot. So we're looking at a real, like at a public health emergency besides just like a human rights issue. We also found that 86% of food service workers, so these are the people who are making your food and serving your food, 86% have no paid sick days. That means they have to be there no matter what kind of illness they have, because usually those are the lowest paid workers who can't afford to get sick. So we found that the workers who don't have paid sick days, these are the workers who are getting the lowest wages. They're majority women, they're majority people of color, they're majority immigrants, and working families. These are the people who need paid sick days the most, and they are the least likely to have them. We also realized that these are our members. For Young Workers United, we represent low-wage service workers, and our members, pretty much nobody in the organization had any kind of paid sick leave. So we said, well, you know, there must be some laws out there about that. There must be something. I mean, there has to be something, you know, New York, Madison, somewhere. And what we saw is that there was no law anywhere in the US, anywhere in the country, that gave workers the right to get sick. They just didn't have that right. So every worker who came into our office who asked us for help, workers, especially immigrant workers, actually would come in and say, you know, my rights are being violated. I can't take a day off. I'm sick and they're forcing me to work. And we had to say, you know what? You don't have the right to get sick. You don't have any kind of protection that if you call in sick, that they can't fire you. Employers have that right to fire you if you are ill, if you try to take care of your child, if you have a fever, or if you have broken bones. And workers were aghast at this. They could not believe it. But what we felt like, you know, the best we can do is say, well, if you have any other problems, we can help you. You know, we will try to do the best we can on a case-by-case basis. But we're sorry, you don't have that right. I think for our organization, the tipping point came when we were doing a training with our Worker Justice Committee, which is a member-led committee that handles a lot of the cases that we have. So we try to train workers who are service workers to work with their colleagues, with their coworkers, to resolve cases. And we were doing a training on workers' rights and on labor history, like where do our rights come from? So part of the training, we asked them, we said, where do you think you got minimum wage? Where do you think you got overtime, breaks? Do you think that bosses said, you know what, a minimum wage sounds like a good idea. Oh, you know what, I think a paid 10-minute break would be great for my low-wage employees. Do you think that's what happened? And of course the group was like, no, not at all. And so the answer was like, you're right. No, we fought for those rights. Our brothers and sisters in the labor movement fought to have the right to minimum wage, and to take a break, and to overtime, and to the 8-hour day, and to end child labor. They gave their lives for those rights. And we have, as Young Workers United, we have an obligation to continue that fight. We need to enforce those rights. And I think all of us kind of had a collective aha moment. We were like, wait a minute. So we have this legacy. So the labor movement fought for our rights. Okay, we need to fight for paid sick days. This is our calling. We have a moral obligation to make sure that people do not have to work when they're sick and they do not have to leave their children home alone when they are ill. No one should have to make that choice, and low-wage workers shouldn't have to choose between making the rent and buying food or being able to stay at home with their children. It's just, that's unjust, and we can't tolerate that. So we made the decision, and also, kind of naively, we said, how hard can it be to write a law? It can't be that hard. We were wrong. We were a little bit wrong.